Today we are in the city of New Orleans. We are going to take a tour of what is now the Bienville Basin Apartments. And it used to be the Iberville Projects, located right off Canal Street, close to the French Quarters. We're making a left on Bienville Street, and we're coming into this beautiful area here. This is the Bienville Basin Apartments. These apartments were completed in 2019. And it is mixed income. It's not low income. It's mixed income. So I think a lot of people like the location of it. Of course, it's new, 2019, so it's only 6 years old. And as you can see, some of the units still look like the old Iberville. It still have that old Iberville Project look, some of them. I think it looks really, really, really good. So this area has a lot of history in like these four corners or the four streets. North Robertson, Iberville, Basin, and St. Louis Street. These four streets at one time was considered the red light district of New Orleans. These four streets that I just mentioned were at one time considered Storyville district. And that was an area that allowed prostitution between 1897 to 1917. So when they say there's nothing new under the sun, 1897, to 1917. This was a prostitution area. So if, hey, you come into town, you're in the French Quarters having a good time, you can mosey on over here and come, do what you do. And you didn't have to worry about, being arrested or harassed. Prostitution was allowed in this area. So Storyville, or the red light district, had a lot to do with prostitution. It was located by a train station, making it a popular destination for travelers throughout the city. In the 1930s, it was demolished. And part of that had to do with, the war that was taking place at that time and some military soldiers. So I guess maybe the soldiers was too distracted by the prostitution that was going on here. So it was kind of drawing them away from their duties. That's my thoughts on it. But the military did have something to do with it being shut down in the war that was, going on. So after Storyville, it was demolished. And in the 1940s, it became the Iberville Housing Projects. Now, the Iberville Housing Projects in the beginning was primarily for whites. low income whites that needed housing, aka government assistance. Out of the 6 housing projects, 2 were designated for whites and the other 4 was designated for blacks. And it was segregation at the time. So when they first were built, it was whites over here, blacks over there. So when integration began in the 1960s, the whites were given the opportunity to move out of the projects because they didn't want to mix with the blacks. So the whites were able to move out of the Iberville Projects into the suburbs. They were given an opportunity. Maybe they were given a voucher or something to go live in the suburbs. And the blacks that stayed in the housing projects were not given that same opportunity. So as time went on and it was just, primarily blacks, it just became more drug infested. And that was the major issue with the drugs. You have, so many strikes. You have low income in drugs, lack of opportunities. All of that equals crime. And the crime was bad back in the day when this was the Iberville Projects. There is still crime in this area of New Orleans, but it's not like it was when this was the Iberville Projects. And the crime in this area is no worse, in my opinion, than the crime in any other city in Louisiana, and I'm sure throughout the world. Every city has some level of crime. But yeah, it's not completely crime free now because it's not the Iberville. There is still crime in the area of New Orleans. So, although there was no significant damage to the Iberville Projects after Katrina, the city had other plans for this area. A lot of wealthy men had vision and projects and things in mind that they wanted to do with the city, with this area. They had things, proposals. They wanted to do different things with this area. But in 2013, it began to be demolished. So they began to demolish the Iberville Projects in 2013. And the winner was the person that had this idea for the housing, another apartment complex. So this area is rich in history. It's very popular. It's in a great location. I think they did a beautiful job with the remodeling. It was so quiet back here. You can see the person sitting outside. You see people walking. It's just really, really quiet. Nice little playground. There was some kids on the playground playing as well. Yeah, in this area, it's close to, it's off of Rampart Street, so it's close to the Singer Theater, so you're still in a vicinity of everything going on in the city. So it's a great location. I hope you all enjoyed this tour of Bienville Basin Apartments, Old Iberville Projects, used to be Storyville District. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And we will see you all next time.